Hello students, this is Suryakant Pandey, and in this video we will discuss constitutional design of civics in class ninth. One thing I have to tell you that in this particular video you will have to pay attention on the listening more than your eyes, because I have not made so many slides. Rather, I have focused on the explanation more. So these are the contents. So I will not repeat these contents, as these are the parts like Constitution of South Africa, why do we need a constitution, or how Indian constitution was made, what are the various philosophies and guiding values of Indian constitution. So first part is about South Africa. Now this is the map of African continent, little bit elongated, and here you can see this is South Africa, and this is the geographical location of this country. Now we move to our next template. The history of South Africa is also like India, as it was occupied by European whites, and all game was money game, because South Africa has been a country which is very rich in minerals, especially gold, diamond, and silver. So these three things attracted the whites, and they captured South Africa. And the whites thought that they are the best race in the world, so they made a system called apartheid. Apartheid is actually a system of discrimination. Like, when they thought they are the best, so they thought blacks as inferiors. Now, in this way, the blacks were denied of their rights. Many times they were uh, actually denied by their equal rights, as well as in traveling in trains, buses, or taxis, or public parks, theaters, shops, everywhere there was a perfect separation between blacks and whites. You can see many cartoons or many caricatures which are showing that system. That I remember one uh, blackboard on which it was written in a park that dogs and blacks are not allowed. So it means the whites thought the blacks as inferior than dogs. Now we come to another part. Just like in India, we have Mahatma Gandhi as our topmost leader in our freedom struggle. So Nelson Mandela was their leader. He was the leader of a party called African National Congress. Now, this party was an umbrella organization. Actually, umbrella organization means a very big organization which supports many small parties or organizations. So, Nelson Mandela, when struggled and he fought against this uh, policy of apartheid, so he was declared as a traitor, or he was alleged of treason, and he was sent to Robben Island, that is the most dreaded jail in South Africa. In India also, you might remember in olden days, the British sent us to Kalapani. Kalapani, that is in Andaman and Nicobar. So, in the same way, Robben Island was also a very dreaded prison, and he spent 28 years of his life in jail. So, a young Mandela went to jail, and an old Mandela came out of prison. He was released in 1992, and after that, a new constitution was written. In 1994, April, this constitution was enacted, and this constitution is so good in nature that you can say that it appears like a heaven. So many things in South Africa are new, and they were never given or thought even in any kind of democracy. Now we move to our next part. Why do we need a constitution? So, in this particular topic, we can say that constitution is a set of written rules. Now, the constitution can be written or somewhere it is not even written. The constitution can be rigid or flexible, like in India, it's very flexible. We can make amendments whenever we want, and Constitution of America is very rigid. The change is very difficult to make. So each and every country has got a constitution. Now, why do we need a constitution? So we can say the first point is that a degree of trust and coordination is generated. Now, what is trust? Trust means the trust of people on the government. When the constitution guarantees there are some rights of the people, and in India, the government is a welfare kind of government in which the government does not do anything for itself, it does everything for the country. So, the constitution provides us the degree of trust and also the coordination to live together. Now, the coordination to live together means it provides a harmonious environment in which all people belonging to different communities, religions, caste, creed, color, genders, all of them can live together happily as well as harmoniously. Next point is the constitution tells us how the government will be formed. Now, in every constitution, the system of election is explained. So, in our constitution also, we know how the government can be formed and what are the rules and regulations followed during the election. It also explains the powers and limits of the government. Means actually the government is divided into different organs like executive, judiciary, legislature. What are their powers? What are the powers of the prime minister or even the president, or in also assemblies? So many things are divided in the constitution. Then the last point is that our constitution tells us about what are the wishes और द एस्पिरेशंस ऑफ द पीपल. सीधी बात यह है कि जनता अपनी सरकार से क्या एक्सपेक्ट करती है, क्योंकि हम लोग जितने भी लोग हैं निश्चित रूप से जनता सरकार से कुछ न कुछ चाहती है, और यही विशेज और एस्पिरेशंस कहलाते हैं. सो व्हाट द पीपल एक्चुअली want from the government. So these all things are considered as why do we need a constitution. So whenever the question comes, you have to describe the following points which are mentioned here. Now we move to our third part, that is how our constitution was made. As you all know that India became independent in 1947, 15th of August, and we also know that when India became independent, at the same time all of us faced partition, means India and Pakistan, two countries were made, and this partition was very bloody, means around 10 lakh people were killed from both sides in communal riots, and we can say that our independence was very costly because it took so many lives. Now we again come to the point of constitution. Before the constitution, you can see one more petty constitution was formed by Motilal Nehru along with 8 Congress members, and they presented this constitution in Karachi session of Congress. And in fact, in 1928, they started making it. Now, in this petty constitution, although it is no more because our own constitution we have got, and so many points which were made by Motilal Nehru and his friends, they are all incorporated in our constitution. So the main points of this constitution were like protection of minorities, so many rights, and also they favored universal adult franchise. I think you know this word. I can remind you, means voting right for each and every person who attains the age of 18 is called universal adult franchise. Now we come to the next part, that is the formation of constituent assembly. Actually, constituent assembly was formed just after independence, we can say, or not just after independence. The formation was started even before independence, because at that time the elections were held, and as the records say that at that time universal adult franchise was not there, but still, however, the system of election was followed and the assembly was elected. So its initial members were 389, but when India and Pakistan were made, so 90 members of Muslim League moved to Pakistan, while some members of Muslim League and Congress and independents, combining all of them, remained 299, and all these members remained in India. Its first meeting was held in December 1946, and two facts you always have to remember differently, because I have seen many students are being confused in these two names. First, who was the president of Constituent Assembly? So, the president of Constituent Assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and he also became the first president of India, independent India. And drafting committee means two parts were there in Constituent Assembly. द ड्राफ्टिंग कमेटी, मतलब जिनको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लिखने के लिए कहा गया, तो उस कमेटी के जो चेयरमैन थे, ही वॉज डॉक्टर बी आर अम्बेडकर. एंड it took almost 2 years to complete, or we can say draft, our constitution. Although it was completed on 26 November 1949, I will show you this date when we will see the preamble. But you might be surprised that why this constitution was adopted on 26 January 1950. So it's a story. Now I can tell you the story why it was done. Actually, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who was a young leader of Congress at that time, and in 1929 in Lahore session, he adopted a resolution of Purn Swaraj. Means he said that on 26 January 1930 we will be fully independent. This resolution was passed in Congress, but anyhow, we all know that we did not become independent on that date, and that was forgotten. But when the constitution was made, so just to commemorate that date, that Pandit Nehru wanted India to be free on that date, so this date was adopted, and we waited for a few months after 26th November, and on this date, 26th January of 1950, the constitution was adopted. Now we cover the last part of this chapter, that is philosophy and guiding values of our constitution. Now, what is philosophy? Philosophy means the thinking, what the people thought when they were making the constitution. Guiding values means how we were inspired and what we thought of our constitution. So here I have downloaded one picture of our preamble which is shown here. You can see it. This preamble is the original preamble which is in the Constitution of India, and it looks like a poem. We the people of India, and it starts with this word, this you can say sentence, and then so many things it states. So, if we talk about guiding values, actually all of us were inspired by our freedom fighters, because the reason for which they sacrificed their lives, it was a very big one. So, whatever values of life they taught us, we should never forget them. Like all of us are made for our country, and whenever it is required, we should give our best for the welfare of our country. At that time, even our own life is not so costly for the stake of the country. And the philosophy, or we can say the points which guided us, so these all words have been taken from various constitutions like America or France. So some words are given here, like the first word you can see, that's sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So these words you have to just study very elaborately. Sovereign, in हिंदी we call it संप्रभु. एक ऐसा देश जो अपने डिसीजन स्वयं लेने में सक्षम है, एक ऐसा देश जो पूरे तरीके से जिसकी जनता के हाथ में पावर है अपने रूलर को चुनने की, ऐसे देश को हम सोवरेन कहते हैं या संप्रभु. मीन्स अ कंट्री इन विच ऑल द पावर लाइज इन इट्स पीपल. सोशलिस्ट, सोशलिस्ट मीन्स समाजवादी. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एनी पार्टी, एक्चुअली इट्स अ वर्ड. सो socialist means when all the resources of society are equally distributed. In fact, the government tries to distribute them equally. Then we come to the third word, that is secular. Secular means in our country we don't have any official religion, or each and every religion is equal in the eyes of the government. And then we come to the word democratic. Democratic, we all know that is a country in which the rulers are elected by the people. And last word is republic. Republic means a country which is guided by its constitution, because we became independent on 14th August 1947, but India became a republic on 26th January 1950, means we adopted a constitution. तो रिपब्लिक वही कंट्री होगा जिसमें एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लागू है, और आजकल मैक्सिमम कंट्रीज रिपब्लिक ही कहे जाते हैं. Then we come to some more words which are given here. Like first word I will mark justice. अब justice का मतलब न्याय होता है, and in this way the government or our constitution promises to provide us justice on all bases like social, economic and political. Means in society everybody will be equal, no caste, no gender will be prominent. Economic means all the poor and rich will be the same, and political means you will also get political justice, means all the people of India will get a free and fair chance in the elections. Now comes liberty. Liberty has arise from the Greek word liber. Liber means free. तो लिबर्टी का मतलब आज़ादी. आज़ादी का है कि थॉट, विचारधारा की. यू कैन कीप any kind of thought you want, means I'm not talking about any thought which is against the country. Any thought which is for the country and welfare of the country can be called here liberty of thought. Expression, you can express yourself by any means you can criticize the policies of the government, or you can say anything within the limits. Belief, faith and worship means you can believe in any religion, you can worship as you want. Then the comes word equality. Now equality means समानता. अब ये समानता स्टेटस और अपॉर्चुनिटी की है सभी को प्रमोट करने के लिए. मतलब आपको हर तरीके का मौका दिया जाएगा, आपके स्टेटस को भी मेंटेन रखा जाएगा. मीन्स द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट एनी काइंड ऑफ it does not, I can say that there is no discrimination between any high caste or low caste person, literate, illiterate, rich or poor. So all the status is equal in front of Indian government. And now the word comes fraternity. Fraternity we call in Hindi भाईचारा, बंधुत्व की भावना. Means when we are all the sons and daughters of the same motherland, so we are brothers and sisters. So all of us should work towards integrity and unity of the nation. So here you can see that in this 26th day of November 1949, so you might remember that thing which I told you, that the constitution was completed on this date, but why it was enacted, I have explained it. Now we come to some very common questions mostly asked during the examinations. I have not made so many questions, just I have made 5 the most common questions. Who was Nelson Mandela? Describe his struggle for independence. I have already discussed with you. Why do we need a constitution? I have discussed. Describe the Constituent Assembly of India. So I have discussed how it was made, who were the members and all the things. Now the question 4, why Indian constitution has been accepted even after 70 years. So In answer to this question, a few points I can tell you. Whenever constitution was made, it was drafted by Dr. Ambedkar, and his procedure was very unique. First of all, if we go to the Constituent Assembly, the way the people were elected, they were elected from all walks of life, means farmers, professors, leaders, the tribals, all kind of people were in Constituent Assembly. It means no any kind of person was left unrepresented in our country from geographical, economical, or social point of view. So it means this assembly represented the whole country. Second thing, when its meeting was held, it took 114 meetings to discuss each and every clause, each and every point which Dr. Ambedkar made. It was discussed among the assembly members. So when everything was discussed at that time so elaborately, you can go any time in the parliament and you can watch the 12 very big volumes of discussion on our constitution. So it means it was discussed fully and heavily, we can say. So after this discussion, whatever was made, it was accepted to all, and that's why in these 70 years, not any big party, no any kind of group or social group or any community has objected on anything in the constitution. And whatever changes have been made, so the our constitution makers knew that whatever things will come, they adopted it, and they made a provision for change. So we have made almost around 150 amendments, so there was always a room for correction of mistakes. So in this way it is accepted. And in so many countries, like in Nepal, the constitution was rewritten, but in India 70 years have passed and nobody has objected on this constitution. Now the last question, that how does South African constitution inspire the democracies in the world? Actually, I have answered this question, but I will repeat a few things. Like, it provides so many good things, and we will discuss in one chapter, that is democratic rights, what good things it has provided to its people. So, it is a constitution, really, you can say the latest one and the best one. Now, with this, I would like to end my discussion. Thank you.